Let's start off with just some quick little mobility work for our shoulders, and then we're going to do a little balancing, and then we'll get into some arms and core, and then we will finish with some stretching. So a little bit more of a focus on arms, like smaller muscle groups, tiny little muscle groups today. Biceps, a little bit of the triceps, and then the calves for some balance, and then the core. So, mobility first. Let's start with our upper body. Arms are at a 90 degrees, right? We don't need any weights or anything. We're just body weight right now. As you're looking straight ahead, you should be able to see your hands, your forearms, and your elbows, and your side vision, your peripheral vision. If not, your arms are too far back. Then you have to come a little forward with your arms. From right here, reach up, and then come down. So you're sitting as tall as you can. Make sure to pull in the stomach, right? And then reach up and come down. Now, if you can't quite go straight up because of mobility issues with your shoulder, then just reach forward, but also reach up. So you're kind of reaching forward at an angle. Now, when we move on to weights, and we do this same exercise with weights, try not to use the weights if you are indeed going to reach forward. That's going to put a lot of stress on your shoulders. So you'll just do this same exercise without weight, okay? And you'll reach forward. Having weight in your hands and reaching straight out ahead can be really, really stressful on the shoulder joint. So we want to avoid that. Now from here, come down to a 90. Again, being able to look forward and see your elbows and hands in your side vision. From right here, 90 degree angles in both arms as you start to bring your hands and forearms down. Look at your elbows. You should still be at a 90 degree angle. Now your forearms should be parallel to the floor. From here, you're going to keep those elbows right at your shoulder height as you continue down with the hands. So this is where it gets challenging. You're going to feel rotator cuff and shoulder work, mobility happening as you bring the hands, forearms down towards the floor. Then start to work your way back up. So do what you can. Obviously coming down is tough on the shoulder, but don't force it. You're just working through the range of motion. You're just coming down as far as your shoulder will allow you, and then coming right back up to vertical. And even if you're coming down just a little bit below parallel, it's okay. You're still working on mobility. Everyone's range of motion is different. So you kind of just need to work with what your body's letting you do. And do not force it. And then, of course, do not judge yourself based on what your body's allowing you to do. So don't just force yourself to work through the pain. Right? We don't want to work through painful movements. But we do want to work and strengthen our body in a way where we are getting muscle contraction and lactic acid burnup, which creates that kind of burning sensation in our arms that you're probably getting in the shoulders and arms now as you do this. And that's okay. That kind of pain is what we want, but not the pain that's going to lead to injury, right? And we always want to prevent that. So listen to your body and let me know, and we can modify. I can always modify the exercises. Okay, from right here, now we're going to come forward. In. Hands coming in, elbows coming in, forearms touching. And now I do want you to go as wide as you can and as far back as you can. Squeeze and pinch your shoulder blades together. Then come forward. Hands, forearms, elbows coming in. Going out wide. Expanding, squeezing the shoulder blades, and then forward again. Again, just working on some mobility. We're just really warming up our shoulders and our upper back, posture muscles a little bit. You're still trying to maintain somewhat of a 90-degree angle in the arms as you go wide out to the side, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then coming in. Let's do one more time, forward and to the back. Forward, squeeze, hands, forearms together, out to the side, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then relax. Shake out those arms. Remember, you can always take a break as your body is getting tired and as exercises become more challenging. You take as much time as you need to, and then you get back to it. So it's okay to take a break and then resume the exercise when you're ready. Grab a dumbbell. 2 dumbbells. 2 dumbbells, always starting fairly light, right? And then we can go heavier later. But let's start light. And then, if you don't have dumbbells, canned goods, wine bottles, tequila bottles, bags of flour. I mean, just really anything that has weight, but you have to have 2 that are equal in weight, so make sure they're the same object or food item. From there, let's get the arms up. Again, that 90-degree angle. You're looking straight ahead. You should be able to see your hands in your side vision. Now remember, from based on the last one, if you were reaching up and forward, you don't want to use weights. And if you're able to go straight up and down, feel free to use the dumbbells. Reach straight up towards the ceiling, come right back down. Now you want to make sure you have balance with the weight in your hand, right? Your wrist should always be above your elbow. Or if you want to think of it, your elbow is always directly below your wrist. However you want to frame the thinking in your mind is up to you, but we call it stacking the joints. The wrist joint is stacked directly above the elbow joint. So as you come down, wrist above the elbow. As you press up, wrist above the elbow. And you try to maintain that as you go up and down. Let's do 3 more. 3, strong through your core. 2, and 1. All right, lower the weight and then let's stand all the way up. Let's work on our biceps. Palms are facing in and your feet are pretty close together, but you still have space between your feet, right? So you want to have a little bit of space, a little bit of balance in the feet, legs. Posture is real tall. Shoulders up and back, right? So you want to roll the shoulders up like you're shrugging, and then bring them back and then let them sink down. And that'll really help secure the shoulder joint in place. Palms neutral, facing in towards each other the whole time. We're just in a little bicep curl. So the palms are going to face in towards each other the entire time. And we'll change our grip in a second here, in a little bit. Let's do 5 more and then we'll change our grip. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now from here, palms are going to rotate and face forward. So now the back of your hands should be resting on your thighs a little bit. And palms should be facing straight ahead. Now from there, we curl. So you're still working on your biceps, but your palms are in a different position. Right? So palms are facing forward at the bottom. Then your palms are facing in towards your shoulders at the top. And you just keep that range of motion going. Now the challenge as well is keeping your elbows in close to your rib cage as you go up and down. So you try to minimize the movement in your elbow. And so that's the challenge there. So we're just working on a different part of the bicep. Bicep has 2 muscle heads. This targets one of the muscle heads, and then the other position we had earlier targets more the outer. So this is inner, and then palms facing in focuses on the outer. So moving on. From right here, put one of the weights down. Actually, put them both down. And from here, we'll modify a little bit later if you want to go heavier for the calf raise. So the calf raise, one leg. You can do this with 2 feet if you want, but I'm going to start with one leg. I'm using the chair as support for my balance. Heel raise, right back down. Raise the heel off the ground, come up onto the toes and the ball of your foot. Elevating the heel as high as you can and coming up. Let's do one more. All right, other leg. Raise the heel up. So you have one leg bent, other leg is down. And you, like I said, you can do this with both feet on the ground. If it's too much on one leg and it's just, maybe it's a little too much on the hip, or maybe it's too much on your foot or your ankle or your knee possibly, it's okay. You can easily do this with both feet at the same time, raising the heels up. Okay, so you have options. 1 foot, 2 feet. Now, if you really want to add some challenge, here's another alternative. So you can do 2 dumbbells at the same time. This is the most challenging one. And this is if your balance is really good and you want to work on your balance. 2 dumbbells, shoulders back, arms straight down, both heels come up at the same time. And so this is, I would say, the most ultimate challenge to your body as far as balance is concerned, while holding on to weight, so you don't have anything else to hold on to. And then the next, I wouldn't say the next level up, because it takes away the balance, but it puts more demand on the calf. So it's kind of a give and take on this one. The other alternative, which is probably the one that I would end up doing, is opposite hand and foot, left leg down, right hand holding on, and then a calf raise there, on 1 foot, on 1 leg. So you would do this if you really want to focus on some strength for that lower leg. And this is probably going to be the hardest as far as weight, but not as far as challenge, as far as balancing and trying to stay elevated, right? Or trying to stay in that position of your calf raise going up and down. So this doesn't really challenge your balance that much, but it definitely challenges the calf, and then you can switch legs. So I'm giving you a lot of options for this one. Okay, there's plenty of alternatives for this. I'm gonna finish up with my right leg. I'm only gonna do about 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So plenty of options. I hope you were able to figure out which option was best for your body. And so try to remember that, so when we come back to these, you can do them again. Okay, triceps. We're gonna give this one a shot, okay? It's a little bit of a challenge to get into. Right arm holding onto the weight. Right leg back. Left leg forward. Left hand on top of your chair. You are bending your arm, and from here you're going to raise that arm up. And the challenge here, as you lean forward, is to raise that arm up and keep that elbow at your shoulder height. From there, you kick out the hand and come right back. Out and right back in. Kick out and right back in. Now the challenge again is keeping that elbow at your shoulder height the entire time. Right? So you extend the arm back. Don't hold it back there. Just reach out and come right back in. Don't pause on the extension. Just extend back Flex the tricep and then come in. Don't try to hold it out there. That's going to make your shoulder work extra hard. I want you to focus on the back of your arms, keeping that elbow up and extend. One more. All right. Hopefully you felt that back there in the back of your arm, okay? Other side, I'm gonna do it without the chair. I can just do this with my hand really on top of my thigh. Right leg forward, left hand holding on to the weight, left leg back. My right hand is on my right thigh. Elbow up, left elbow up, bring it up to shoulder height. Reach back with the hand. Keeping that elbow up, back and behind your body with your elbow. Right? Keep it elevated. And then just extend that hand straight back with whatever you have in your hand, right? Whether it's a weight, a can, whatever object, doesn't matter. You can even just do your hand, your body weight. You don't necessarily need to use weight. Extend that arm back. Don't pause. Just extend, come in. Extend, come in. Extend, come in. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. All right. Have a seat. In your chair, have a seat. Sit as close to the edge of your chair as you can without falling out of your chair. Hold on to one dumbbell. Bring that dumbbell right up to the chest. Extend out your legs in front of you. Check your position in the chair, in the seat of your chair. Sit as tall as you can. Flex your stomach. So from here, depending on the setup of your chair, you want to be able to go all the way back. You're reclining backwards. And you're trying to go as far back as you can until you feel your heels lift off the ground. Once you feel your heels start to lift up, I want you to immediately start to come all the way up to your upright, tall position. So you're trying to feel the heels and your legs. And once you start to feel that they're coming off the ground, try to dig the heels back into the floor and then start to sit up again. Now, hopefully this is happening before your back hits the chair. If your back is hitting the chair first before your heels start to lift off, then you may be too far back in your chair. You may need to sit a little more forward. Or if that's the best you can do with what you have, then that's fine. Just keep it working. And I would recommend just holding it here. So if you have a shorter range of motion and you can't quite go back as far, you can just go back as far as you can and then hold it. So your range of motion is a little shorter, but holding it here is tough. So options for you. Everyone else, if you can continue to go up and back, you're just doing a sit-up, really is what it is. You're coming down as far as you can while keeping the heels down, and you're keeping the weight close to your chest. All right, don't move the weight away from your chest. Keep it in tight. Keep it in close. Stay strong through your core. Flex the stomach. Tighten it up. So this movement, believe it or not, will help you sitting up from a laying down or a reclined position. So it'll help get your core nice and strong. Let's do one more and hold it at the back end. If you've been holding it this whole time, that's okay. Come out of it, take a break, and then join us again. Now I want you to hold. Stay back here. Let's work on your core. Breathe. Keep the weight in close. Heels. Keep those heels down. Down, down, down through the heels. 5 seconds. And nice and easy, come out of that. So that definitely helps from, when you're sitting back and you're comfortable in a chair and you're kind of relaxing and you want to get out of something, then that's what you do right there. Hi, I'm in the middle of a class and I'm in the middle of a recording, if you don't mind. I'm sorry. Thank you. So that's what you want to do, or that's how it applies to your functional everyday life, is that kind of reclined position, moving out. And in fact, it kind of is very close to laying down on the bed, and then you start to get up out of the bed too. All right, let's get through our shoulders again. One more round. All right, get the weight up. Remember, if you're reaching up and then you're reaching forward, you're not using weight. We don't want to stress out your shoulders. So from here, 90-degree angle. We're going to play with it. We're going to get fancy. If you can, join me at going one at a time. So one arm is going to stay down, while the other arm is going to go up. And we're alternating between the left and the right. Stay strong through your core. Flex the stomach. Try not to arch your back. Right? If you're feeling lower back pain, as you raise the weight up, you may need to go lighter or remove the weight completely. Flex your stomach, though, to help combat your lower back overreacting or overacting and taking over the spinal support, right? We don't want the back to do all the work. We want the core to support the spine. Now let's get both arms, same time. Ooh, here's where it gets tough. Both arms, same time. Let's go for 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, stand up. Okay, bicep curls. We're gonna do both. All right, first we're gonna do neutral grip, palms facing in. Make sure you're standing tall. Engage your core, shoulders are back, flex your stomach. Keep the palms facing in towards each other the whole time, okay? And we just go up and down. Try to stand tall. Work on your posture, right? Focus on that posture, standing as tall as you can. Chin up. Core engaged, pull in the stomach, suck in the belly button. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Turn your palms to face to the front. Keep that same tall posture. And now we're bicep curling again, but our hands are in a different position now. Palms are facing forward. When they're straight, palms are facing in towards the shoulders at the top as you bring the weight up. Flex the core. Flex, flex, flex that tummy. Keep your posture tall. And your arms are going to pretty much take care of themselves as they go up and down, but mind your posture. Always minding your posture as you walk around campus, as you lift weights, as you do everything, really. Try to be mindful of your posture. That way your back doesn't take the brunt of the poor posture, right? Flex your core. 5 more. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Calf raises. So, remember all the different options that we went through. You can, I'll go through them really quickly. One leg, no weight. You can do both legs, no weight. One leg with one dumbbell. right? Or 2 legs, 2 dumbbells. You decide. I'm gonna do the 1 leg, 1 dumbbell option. So I'm gonna start with my left leg down, my right hand holding onto the weight. If you're doing the 2 leg option, either balancing or with dumbbells, you're just going to continue to work through your repetitions with both legs until we finish with both sides, or until I finish with both sides, which will just be 10 and 10. All right, here we go. Left leg down, right arm holding onto the weight, and let's lift. We're going to go for 10. There's 1, 2. Lift the heel as high as you can. 3. There's 4. Roll onto the ball of your foot, right, by the big toe. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch legs or keep it going with the 2 legs. And let's go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, holding onto that dumbbell still. We're gonna bring our right leg back, left leg forward, left hand on the chair. And it's a pretty big step back, right? Make sure you have some balance and you're supported. Hand on the chair. Bring that elbow up to shoulder height, and you're bringing it a little bit behind your body, behind your torso. Extend. Remember to keep that elbow up at shoulder height the whole time. If it's a little lower than shoulder height, that's okay too. Just right around shoulder height, okay? A little bit below is fine. It's okay. Make sure you're strong and supported through the leg, the front leg. Your core is still engaged. You want to suck that stomach in a little bit just to help out your back, because you are bending forward and your lower back is activating a little bit to support you in this position. So think about your core. Let's do 3 more. 3, elbow up, 2, and 1. All right. Switch sides. So now my left leg is back, right leg is forward, left hand holding onto the weight. Raise that elbow up. My right hand is resting on my right thigh, and we extend. So raise that elbow up to shoulder height, around there, and then we kick back. Almost there. Keep that elbow up. Keep that core strong. Support yourself through the front leg and that front arm. 3 more. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right. Have a seat in your chair. Let's finish with our core. Now, if you want to step it up, you can do 2 dumbbells. You want to make it a little more challenging, hold on to 2 dumbbells right in front of the chest. So you're doubling up the weight. Again, this is optional. You don't have to. You can do this with just your body weight. Sit as tall as you can. Flex your stomach. Tighten up that core. Pull in the belly button. Easy. Go back as far as you can. Once you feel those heels come up, ground them to the floor and sit tall. And repeat. So you lean back. If your upper back is hitting the chair right as the heels come up, then that's perfect. That's a good distance. So just kind of figure it out, see where your body's at with the chair that you have. Kind of have to play with it and figure things out and make adjustments. Right, so try to keep those heels down. Try to keep the weight close to your chest. Keep that stomach nice and tight as you go back and as you sit up. And it's really hard to come up. Going back is easy. Controlling it, going backwards is easy. Coming out of it is the challenging part, especially when your heels want to lift off the ground. And that's okay. Right? You try to do the best you can to keep those heels down as you go back and as you sit up. So it's a very functional move. We do this quite a bit when we get out of bed, out of a chair, or out of a recline chair like a lazy boy chair, or maybe the sofa. You have like a really comfortable and plush sofa. So when you're leaning back, you kind of have a little angle in your upper back, your spine. So all these little different areas will help you get out of certain positions. So this core exercise really applies to a lot of situations where you're sitting down and leaning back, getting out of a car, right? It applies to that too. Let's do 3 more. 3. Strong through the core. 2, last one. Flex the stomach. And come out of that. Nice job. Get some water. Take a breather. Let's finish with some stretching. Wow, the time really went by quick. Perfect. Let's stretch out our arms. Arms, 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 arms. Stretch them out. Shoulders. We've got a lot of shoulder work today. Cross the body. So arms straight out. I'm going to start with my right arm. Straight out. Come across the body. My left hand is going to push my right arm in towards my chest. So you're kind of still sitting tall. You're still trying to mind your posture a little bit as you do this. You don't want to start slouching right away and getting into that poor posture. Still think about it while we're stretching and cooling down. Now let's go up above. So your hand is still on the right arm. Right hand touches the right shoulder. That left hand is going to push that right elbow up towards the ceiling. And then from there, you want to try to pull behind your head. Now, if you just push up and that's the extent of it, and that's as far as you can go, that's fine. You're still getting mobility. This is still stretching your shoulder. You're still stretching a little bit of your tricep. So push from below. If you want a little extra stretch, then you pull from up above and you bring that arm behind the head. And then you really start to feel the back of your arm, the tricep, and then that area leading into the armpit and rib cage. Just depends, everyone's different. But primarily, that's usually where you tend to feel the stretch. Nice and easy, come down, let's go to the other side. So left arm straight out. We're going to come across the body first. Left arm across the body, right hand pushing that left arm into the chest. And we hold it there. And so this stretch you tend to feel more on the upper shoulder, upper arm, a little bit on the outside. A little bit in that upper posture, upper back area. A little bit around the scapula. So you're kind of opening up that scapula as you bring your arm across your body. Alright, so now from here we're going to move on. Left hand touches the left shoulder. Start to raise your left elbow up as your right hand assists and pushes that left arm up towards the ceiling. Hold here if that's as far as you can go. If you're ready for extra and you need a bigger stretch, then you pull from above and you're trying to bring that arm behind your head. And you hold it here. Alright, nice and easy, come down. Let's stretch out our hips. Let's cross one leg over. We're going to do the figure 4. So one leg crosses over on your thigh. Sometimes this is as good as people can get right here, just crossing up. If this is too much, then cross at the knee or maybe cross at the ankles. So kind of see where you're at with your hips. But this is a good starting point, and then you can kind of figure out where you go from here. If you need extra in this stretch, hold on to that ankle right on top of that thigh, and then push down on the inside part of that leg. So the leg that's up and coming over, you are pushing on the inside part of that thigh, forcing the knee down, which will create a greater range of motion in the hip. And if you need more range of motion, then we lean into it and we go all in with our elbow and arm, and we are really forcing that that knee down by applying pressure through the forearm and elbow. So you have different options here for mobility. Crossing at the ankles, crossing at the knees, or we're just doing a basic standard figure 4 hold, and then from there you can apply pressure as needed. Let's go to the other side. So this one's always tough for me. Right side. Usually there's always one side that's a little tighter than the other. And that's okay. It's kind of how it is for our bodies. We are dominant on one side. And so sometimes we tend to overuse that dominant side for certain daily activities. So it gets a little extra work sometimes. And it's hard to try to remember to do things with our left. Who's going to remember that? So it can be a challenge, but it's okay. All we do to combat that is we spend a little extra time on the tighter side. So that's how you combat that overuse on the dominant side. So anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds is pretty standard for a stretch. But if you are noticing that one stretch in particular is really challenging for you and really tough, then you want to spend a little bit more time, maybe 90 seconds to 2 minutes. All right, I'm going to go a little more. So it took me a while to get to here. I had to start off with just some light pressure, and now I got that release in the hip, which is allowing me to go deeper into the range of motion. But sometimes it takes a little bit of time to reach your full potential stretch. So sometimes 30 seconds isn't quite enough. But it just depends on the muscle that you're stretching, how tight you are, how often you do it. So do what you can, when you remember. All right, moving on. Let's stretch out the hamstrings. This is a really good one to do. One leg is just straight out in front of you, the other leg is supportive and assisting you, and then your glutes are sitting kind of close to the edge of the chair, but not quite. So just make sure you're not too far forward so that when you bend forward, you slide out of your chair. Don't do that. I don't want to hear about someone breaking a tailbone because they tried to do a hamstring stretch and they fell out of their chair. Let's not start off the new year with a broken tailbone. We don't need that. No, thank you. So pay attention to your body, see where you're at, and then 2 hands, reaching, sliding down, going down the shin. Use both hands. It's a lot more challenging to use both hands. You can get away with a deeper range of motion with one hand, but once you apply 2 hands to reach, it definitely makes it a lot more challenging to get a full stretch in the hamstring. Try to keep your leg as straight as possible, right? That stretching leg is straight, reaching down, grabbing where you can grab. Maybe you're grabbing right around the knee, maybe you're mid-shin, maybe you're mid-ankle, maybe you're grabbing your shoe. Everyone's different. Don't judge yourself. Do what you can. And it doesn't matter where your hands are as long as you're feeling it behind your leg. Let's switch and go to the other side. So as long as you're feeling it, regardless of where your hands are, you're there. You're getting the benefit of the stretch. So don't ever think that you're not, just because you can't reach all the way down to your foot. Doesn't matter. If you feel it, you feel it. And notice where my hands are for this position. My hands are barely to my ankles. But as I go through and slowly work through the stretch, I will definitely get down to the toes eventually. But it does take me a little bit longer. I'm on my right side. So my right side takes a little bit longer for me to get loose. So it's always progression. You should be slowly increasing and getting deeper and deeper into your stretch, deeper into that range of motion. So you should be incrementally sliding those hands down a little bit farther and farther down the leg. Easy coming back out of that. Let's work on our lower back really quickly. We're going to do the airplanes. Arms are wide. We're going to finish with our back. Arms are wide. We're going to dip to one side. Airplanes. Your feet are wide. Feet are about shoulder width apart, maybe wider, maybe a little bit wider than the legs of your chair. And you're dipping one hand down to the ground while the other arm goes straight up towards the ceiling. And you're trying to get your bottom arm perpendicular and that top arm perpendicular to the floor or ceiling. They apply to both, so however you want to think about it. So not only are you going to get a good stretch on your lateral body, right around the waist, on the side of our body, but you get a little bit of range of motion on that top arm, just a little. You get a little stretch up here as you reach. You might feel it around the ribs. One more time to each side. Going over to the last one, last side. And then we're going to work on rotation. So the last one, legs bent, pointing straight ahead, feet straight ahead. We're just going to grab the chair with both arms, both hands, and turning to one side. So I have an armchair, so I'm able to grab the arm bar and pull. If you don't have an arm bar, you can have one hand on your leg and one hand on the seat of your chair, and you can try to work through that leverage and twist and look behind your body. But you're trying to keep your knees forward and straight ahead as you turn and look behind the body. If you have range of motion in your arm, you can reach back behind the chair, the seat, the backrest of your chair, and then use leverage that way too. So it just depends on if you have that mobility through the shoulder to do this. But grabbing the seat of the chair is fine. Other side, so same thing, turning to my right now. So keeping those knees facing to the front, and then you're just twisting and turning your shoulders, looking behind you. All right, good job, bravo, we are all done. Great work. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Oh my goodness. Have a wonderful day.